when Ranger dropped their kite on the last day, that was exciting. I hadn't even realised what had happened. We were busy getting our spinnaker down, trying to keep everyone focused on getting the spinnaker back into the bag so that we don't lose it over the side.
So there's plenty of drama out there, especially a couple of incidents in the second race. One where Velshida thought Lionheart had dropped their kite on the mark, so we're protesting them. And then when Ranger came around the bottom mark, they dropped their spinnaker.
And then I hear someone going, "Oh God, look at Ranger's kite!" I turn around and there it is, launching itself back out of their boat and disappearing around the back of the rig.
And it was very, very close.
My first priority was to try and get everyone to keep on top of our kite and not do the same thing. But really, I think they just hadn't got their kite secure enough to head up wind around the mark, and they ran the mark, and the wind then gets into the kite, and it's just too big for people to hold on to. And at that point, you've got not many options left for you, and their option was definitely to throw it over the side and lose a halliard in the sheets. And poor old Velshida was trucking around the mark at the same time just behind them, and no time to avoid it. Left them nearly pulling Ranger's kite out as well until they realised which one was which, and that's when I expect the knives came out and get rid of it, it's not our kite. I was amazed with that round actually when Ranger did lose that spinnaker, because the on-water umpires made their call as to who was in the wrong, what penalty needs to be taken straight away, and Ranger did their penalties, let their penalty turns, let Velshida through as had to be done, and somehow then crept in front of Velshida pretty rapidly again. They really pulled that off well.
What's been different with this regatta with the Jays as well is they've had an on-water umpire following the whole time, so a bit like in a football match, I guess, there's a referee calling it straight away, and you're not having to wait for a judgment or a long protest hearing afterwards. So I think that's worked really well. It's certainly had positive feedback, and we've had a cracking week. It's been sunny, the breeze has been up and down a bit, but the last couple of days has been spot on. 15 to 20 knots yesterday and about 15 knots today.
For the racing last week, thankfully I'd had the winter to get on top of the rig programme, so very little rigging wise. All the ropes were ready, the rig was ready, we had enough sail tuning and trials to make sure we're happy with that. So it was actually a fairly chilled out week for me, rigging wise, race wise, up on the foredeck, making sure that the kite goes up nice and smooth, the sails come down tidily, we're ready for the spinnaker stations, everything else that happens, and just try and help make sure the jibes go tidily as a group of four of us really that control that side of things. But all went pretty smoothly really. Most of the time the crew were up in that boat, and in general even all the way through from the foredeck to the afterguard and in between us worked really well. Conditions for the week were very varied. Nice to show people that Falmouth can be sunny, and we can have sun and wind and flat water sailing as well, which is really quite unique within racing these boats. And then to have a foggy day as well with a fair bit of breeze on, some mizzle. It was a big change of feeling for everyone, the way you would sail, and not being able to see the top marks or the lower marks, whichever you're heading for, made a hell of a difference, and certainly they feel that they crept up on us quite quickly a couple of times then when you don't get quite so much warning. Really good conditions, challenging. There were holes, there were big shifts to contend with, and then obviously the tide you've got in the bay there as well. The east and west flowing tide makes a hell of a difference, really tactically, to where's going to play the best, on the left or the right, or even straight up through the middle.
What's really been interesting is how differently the boats have gone, and how close they are on the water. So in the light stuff, Lionheart's really going like a rocket, and very, very hard to touch, I would say, in anything under 10 knots, both from Ranger and Velshida's point of view.
The speed of the boat, a lot of people say Lionheart's a very quick boat, and she really can be. She can be a quick boat, she can sail well upwind. But Velshida, I felt, really showed her pace this week, especially on the start line. She got very good starts, but she managed to sail over the top of Ranger even after a luffing match. She was looking very quick this week. The crew seemed to have really got to grips with how to get the most out of her. And Ranger, I felt, from having a reasonably mediocre start, not showing their true colours on the Saturday morning, they were just unstoppable. I mean, they really showed that up in Cowes, they're going to be a big threat from someone to look out for. They really pulled it out. Apart from the kite drop, which went wrong, they sailed well. They were aggressive, they were fast, and they got that first place. Made it look pretty easy. It's incredible to win in Falmouth. I honestly put it down as one of my favourite regattas I've probably ever done now, with the varied conditions, with the mizzle, with the sunny weather, and thinking back to when I'd seen the Jays racing in the Solent, and I'd always longed, just looking at the Jays, that longed to race on one, to sail on one, to be near one, and then to get involved with the Jay and have a great season last year, racing Lionheart around the Med, to then come here. I couldn't believe it. First of all, they were even sailing in Falmouth. I didn't dare to dream that we'd actually win, and especially on Saturday morning after the first race, when we all sat down, we had a cup of coffee, and had to come to terms with the fact that it's not looking promising. But we had a brew, and we said, well, we've just got to win. And I went off and I put my old socks on, because they seem to be my lucky socks, and I didn't wear them for the first race. And then to win, I couldn't believe it. I almost couldn't celebrate when we got over the start line, because I wanted someone to prove to me that it was true and that it was genuine. But then it all kicked off when everyone else started celebrating, and we were singing and dancing and peeking around the forestays. We did the flyby past the point. It's just amazing to win a regatta at home and see Falmouth in the distance across the finish line with no one else in front of us.
I think what's probably been most interesting is how well it's been received here in Falmouth. The owners and the crews have loved coming here. It's a real sailors' town, and everyone's enjoyed seeing different sorts of workboats, gaffers, dinghies, all sorts out there following the racing, and all the people lining Pendennis as well, because it means a lot to see these beautiful boats come back to Cornwall.